This is section 3.2, gross pay for hourly workers. So before we talk about gross pay for salaried workers, now let's talk about hourly workers. So for gross pay for hourly workers, you take the hours worked times the hourly rate. So if an employee received $452 of gross pay and worked 40 hours, what is the employee's hourly rate? So let's plug in what we know and solve for what we don't know. We know that they worked 40 hours. We don't know the rate, so times R should be 452. Now to solve, we're just going to divide by 40 on both sides. So R equals 11.3. So remember, we're talking in money, so that's $11.30 per hour. Overtime. So if you're an hourly worker, you usually will be able to get paid overtime. Generally, a work week is considered 40 hours, which is 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Anything over 40 hours is considered overtime. And usually overtime pay is pay and a half. So you get your normal hourly rate plus an extra half of what your actual hourly rate is. So if John makes $6.30 per hour, how much does he make per hour on overtime? So we take his hourly rate times 1.5. And we get $9.45. So that's his overtime rate. So gross pay for hourly workers, because we have to figure in regular hours and overtime hours, you're going to take the regular hours times the hourly rate. And then to that, you're going to add the overtime hours times 1.5 times your hourly rate. So let's see what that looks like. Rachel works a full week plus 5 hours overtime. Her regular pay is $9.50 an hour. What is Rachel's gross pay for the week? So let's figure out her normal pay. So she works 40 hours times she makes $9.50 an hour. And then to that, we need to add her overtime. So plus, she worked 5 hours overtime times 1.5 times her hourly rate, 9.5. So 40 times 9.5 is 380, plus 5 times 1.5 times 950. She makes $71.25 in overtime. Add them together, and we get $451.25 as her gross pay. And one more example. Josh's hourly rate is $12.40 an hour. Last week he worked 48 hours. What was his gross pay for the week? So we're going to assume that Josh's employer counts a normal work week as 40 hours. So he worked 40 hours at $12.40 an hour. Plus, so he had 8 hours of overtime, because 48 total, so 8 hours times 1.5 times his hourly rate, $12.40. And then we can go to our calculators and figure that out. So 40 times 12.4 gives us 496. Plus overtime pay is 8 times 1.5 times 12.4, and we get 148.8. Add them together, and Josh's gross pay for the week was $644.80.